I always told my mother that I wanted to be an actress since before I can remember. And I think, maybe it started with Judy Garland and Wizard of Oz, but I've just never had any desire to do anything else, and I'm not really sure why. I was a swimmer when I was a kid. I was on a swim team a competitive team, from the time I was 5 until I was 14, and I used to compete in state championships, and I thought that's what I was going to be.
And no one in my family was in the arts at all or in entertainment, and I think it was a very far-fetched scenario. But by the time we moved to Florida, we were close enough to Miami for me to pursue, to get into like catalog modeling and things like that, and started making connections, and then the dream became more of a reality. And I started auditioning and booking pilots and things when I was about 15.
For whatever fell into playing a mean girl, and I think more so because there are many more blonde actresses than there are brunette actresses. And so the chances of the heroine being blonde are statistically greater, and so then you want a visual opposite to portray the evil girl. And I am that opposite, I guess.
A beautiful girl in my school. I had braces, and I dyed my hair orange. Like, I was never that girl. When I started modeling, obviously, they would fix me so that I would look right for photographs, but I was not the popular girl. I was always a loner, and I never had that thing where it was all about the shell. I was a funny kid, and I just was drawn to this industry for other reasons, not because I felt like I was attractive and should be on film. My film idol when I was a kid was Judy Garland, and she was not a beauty queen.
I completed the first Transformers. I got the Marilyn Monroe tattoo. And I don't know, I've always liked her, and like I said, been intrigued by her because she created a character that she lived behind. So she was always playing a character within a character in all of her movies, which I think is, the psychology behind that is very interesting. I didn't want to be literal. I didn't want to put someone on my arm that I wanted to emulate, like Ava or someone, or Liz or whoever.
And so there's no one to engage you. So you're yelling at something that's not yelling back or moving or raising an eyebrow or giving you anything. So really what's hard is when you're acting with another actor with an imaginary robot, because then you need to have a unison reaction to whatever the robot's doing, but it's not doing anything. So you gotta kind of just hope that you're on the same page with your co-star.
I think that I do have a little bit of that brave streak in me where if I believe in something, it doesn't matter how many people tell me no or tell me that I'm crazy or that's weird or no one else believes you, that doesn't really matter to me. So I would say we're similar in that way.
Basically how we get on the same page is we just assume that every time Michael Bay yells action, we're supposed to be screaming. So we start every take just yelling something, anything, and we're usually correct. We're going to be yelling or running. You can't go wrong with even one of those things.
As long as you survive filming and they've gotten what they needed from you, they don't really care if you drop dead afterwards. It doesn't matter. Do you break an arm, break a leg? And things like when you're working, you can get really sick. As long as you're not bleeding from your face, you're gonna keep working, and people don't understand that. And then in terms of, there's no regard for your physical safety or well-being at all, because it doesn't matter, because you're a means to an end. So they need what they need from you, and then goodbye, suck it up, and we'll see you for the next one.
It's impossible to think that far in the future. There's nothing specific I want to do. Like, I'm not that person that sits and goes, I want to do a Western, I want to do a revenge film. I don't know, I just want to work with great people to get to work with people like Judd, especially, who are nice people and who are also very talented people.
In my experience, from my perspective, I haven't experienced that in this industry. There's not a lot of concern for what's right for individuals.
Every project I did, they're all very different. And if you look at the people I worked with, they're brilliant, amazing people. And that's why I took the project. And one of my favorite things is that I am one of the 10 or less people that think you are.
When I got the call that I'd been offered the spot to host SNL, I didn't really want to do it because I'm so terrified and just I become frozen when I have to speak in front of large crowds of people. But obviously you don't say no to something like that because it's an unbelievable opportunity. So I did it.
I don't go into projects ever thinking, this is a huge movie. I just go in thinking, this is going to be an interesting experience. Hopefully it'll be a fun experience. And it's a chance to sort of just learn a lot and grow a lot.
I'll never watch my episode ever. I can't. That gives me a panic attack thinking about it right now. Maybe like after I've had children and there are just so much, and there are more important things in life, then I'll be able to sit back and watch it and go, who cares?
I love being pregnant, which is, a lot of women don't feel that way. It is really uncomfortable, by the way. It is painful at parts, but I think the overall process is such an amazing one, and I feel so productive creating a human person that I'm so excited to meet, because I know that I have such a spiritual connection to them, and I can't wait to meet this new member of my family.
I've always wanted kids. It's just about the timing being right. And I have a number in my mind of what amount of money I want in the bank so that I can protect that child's future and really protect it so that that kid never struggles. And once I feel safe with that.
And 6 months before, and then I got pregnant with my second son while I was filming. I mean, it's difficult to make an action movie when you're pregnant, but I think I did okay. I did my best.
Certain things where I feel like I don't want them to see me as a woman play a character that's degrading or being abused in a graphic way, because I don't feel like that's something that they'll be able to process well. My particular kids, because they're very sensitive.
They need me still a lot, so it's hard for me to be away from them because I feel guilty. So, you know, it's difficult, but it's something that we all have to do and we all have to get used to, so I'm learning.
I had a lot of self-confidence. Not that I was cocky or thought I was special, but I just felt like I'm supposed to be here. And I was really resilient, and I was never hurt by someone saying no or me not getting a job. But I happened to start working right away on small things, or maybe pilots that didn't make it into shows, but I was working more than anyone else at my management's office.
I think women are harder on everything than men are. But I think grown women in particular can be, for some reason, really hateful towards me. But teenage girls seem to be, they accept me much more.
So there's not anything that's really bad. I mean, it's not my job to market movies or sell them. It's not my job to get people in the theater. It's my job to do the best that I can and enjoy the process and make friends and bond with these amazing people.
I have given birth, I've gestated and given birth to 3 children. I starred in a movie that opened worldwide #1 twice. I was on a critically acclaimed, executive produced and created a show about archaeological controversies. How much more productive does a woman need to be? You. And I'm in an industry that treats pregnancy like leprosy, so it's not like I can keep working once I'm past 5 months. I have to just do nothing.
Hard to communicate your personality through the way the media works today, because everything is sound bites. So you do an entire interview with somebody, or you do an article that's 8 pages, and the 3 things that you said that could possibly seem outrageous or scandalous are what circulate the media, and that's how people grow to know you. So, you know, I'm not like, I guess, what the images portray.
How sexualized I was and how I was like reduced to, I mean, objectified is like, it's not the right word. It doesn't capture what was happening to me at the time. I had, I think, a genuine psychological breakdown probably, where I wanted just nothing to do. I didn't want to be seen. I didn't want to have to take a photo. I didn't want to have to do a magazine. I didn't want to have to walk a carpet. I was sort of out in front of the Me Too movement before the Me Too movement happened. Like, I was speaking out and saying, you know, hey, these things are happening to me and they're not okay. And everyone was like, oh, f you, we don't care, you deserve it.
I never was down on myself. I never felt intimidated. I always felt like there's a reason I was there and God was going to take me where I needed to be. Just for some people that would be terrifying and you'd freeze, but I thought it was so fun and so best to hear and see them behind the monitor laughing and loving what they're doing and everybody's happy. That's a positive example of someone who does it. There's not like a bunch of sitting down and explaining this and that and the other thing. It's improv. He improvs with all of his actors.
previous, I guess that's a point when you go through a transformation, your relationship goes through a transformation. And I think especially for women, that number, for whatever reason, holds a great deal of significance. Because in American society specifically, women around that age become less valuable for some reason, and we don't know why, but I think the anxiety starts to build when you get around that age or even older. In Europe, I feel like women are embraced a little more.
Feel one way about it or the other, and I think in reality, there are a lot of guys when the initial attraction to a girl is mostly sexual, so I don't feel like that's an outrageous thing to portray in the movie. I think it's a legitimate point. Lucky, and what I would want to be doing is I want to be an archaeologist.
Really?
And I want to still do that now. Obviously, I love it.
I had like a really adventurous summer, and I had a good time, and I'm really happy with how it turned out.
Document it the first time because I want to go and really see the real stuff that they're not willing to show the rest of the world, because they hide all the real stuff. They don't show us because humanity would panic. There's no particular technique. Most of the time it's just about survival.